Just leave it to Steve, just leave it to Steve, just leave it to Steve.com.
I'm Amy DeLuca. Welcome to JustLeaveItToSteve.com. I'm here with Steve Medeiros, and we were just talking. One thing people really seem to hate is the feeling that they're being sold something, but you're not really a salesperson. You're more of a consultant, right?
Pretty much what my goal when I'm meeting with a client is to really get down and find out what their goals and their needs are, so I can help them, give them some good advice based on that. So when they're looking at a house, I can give them the advice based on their needs and their goals, and not just on, I want to find a two-bedroom house. That's not a goal or a need. It gets a lot deeper than that.
Some people think of a realtor as someone who shows you a house, but there's really so much more to it than that. Anybody can be a tour guide for a house.
Yeah, for me, it's not just going and being, walking through the house and saying, "Isn't this kitchen beautiful? Isn't this bathroom beautiful?" Or, it's more, finding those little things that are going to be important that they may not notice as a buyer, and really help them to understand that. Or maybe as a seller, not realizing that, certain things may affect the sale of their home because, that's something they lived with all their life, and now it's really they need to get ready to sell, and really what a buyer is going to be looking for.
And then once someone has found the perfect house or their house has been sold, there's still a lot more to do as far as negotiating and all those transactional details that could be so scary to people who aren't professionals in this field.
The negotiating is really important because a lot of times a buyer thinks that's important. They can come in and just, we'll just lowball somebody, and sometimes that doesn't really necessarily work because you may miss out on a property that's really priced well, compared to its competition, and now they lowball it, someone else comes in and makes a good offer, and they lose the property that they really wanted and probably would have paid close to asking price for. So that's really something that the negotiating really comes into play, and not letting the buyer just say, okay, this is what's going to happen. Helping them understand the market conditions and what's going on so they can make an educated decision.
Some of your expertise comes from the fact that you used to be on the other side. You were a property investor, right?
One of the things that we started out doing, my dad and I, was we bought some properties, investment properties. We actually invested in some different projects, and that gave me some experience in the field. So that when my dad said, "Hey, why don't you get your license?" and I got my license just thinking I was going to have that to kind of help me at the investment side of it, and I really ended up liking what I was doing and realized that a lot of the insights I had into the market, into real estate, were a lot of people didn't have, and so that was something that was of value, and I could help people with that.
Most people have a sort of philosophy in how they approach their jobs. Do you have a particular rule of thumb that you always follow?
My general rule of thumb for everything is, when I'm dealing with any client, is I want to give them the same level of service that I would give to any member of my family. What I would do for my mom, my dad, my sister, I'd like to give them the same level of service, because I know if that's my gauge and my goal, then I really can't go wrong. I'm going to be giving everyone great service. Connections
with your community are also really important.
Knowing you can call those people and they'll pick up the phone on a moment's notice. Having those cell phone numbers of an engineer or a hardwood floor and refinisher or something like that, where you can pick up the phone and call that plumber up and say, "I need you to come over here and take a look at this right now. We're at a home inspection," and not have to wait until you go through the yellow pages and find somebody who you don't even know if they're qualified. Having those connections makes the process go a lot smoother, and your client can know that they have someone they can trust on the other end.
So this is a great site. I've been looking around JustLeaveItToSteve.com, and I was wondering, why Just Leave It to Steve? Where did that concept come from?
Well, the name I felt was something I wanted to come up with that would make my clients, my thing is I want them to understand, they can leave everything to me and I'm going to take care of it, and kind of guide them through that whole process. So that's where the name kind of came from. The actual site itself, the purpose of that was really to give my clients and anyone else out there who's looking to get some more information about real estate and how they can, whether it's buying, selling, investing, they can have that information. And on JustLeaveItToSteve.com, we have the videos, the different tips on there. We have different reports on JustLeaveItToSteve.com. We have different ways they can search the MLS, which it's a lot more search functionality on our site than the majority of sites you can find out there. You get the addresses, you get the photos, which a lot of sites don't allow you to have.
That's true.
There's a lot of other things that we offer. So to me, that's really what's important, is having all those ability to do those things on the site that a lot of sites don't offer. They offer you one thing, they don't offer you everything. So.
So for people who are getting started in the process and don't really know where to start, JustLeaveItToSteve.com is a great answer to that question.
Correct.
So Steve, why is it important to you to develop relationships with clients?
For me, it's really important because my clients are going to know that they can refer me in the future, and that I don't see it as when the transaction ends and you have a closing, that's the end of the relationship. I feel like I'm going to be there their consultant for life, and being able to help them. And when they have someone that they trust, when they refer that person, they're going to look good because they know that I'm going to give them great service and make them look good. So I think that's really, really important, that my clients know that they can have someone to kind of look back and say, hey, this is my go-to guy.
Mm-hmm. And just leaveitosteve.com is just one example of how you're providing that service for your clients.
Exactly. Yep.
Just leave it to Steve. Just leave it to Steve.